welcome back to my channel and to the start of my reading vlog for the Romanceathon. So I'm kind of joining this readathon very last minute. I wasn't going to do this just because I heard about this readathon a little bit too late to really fit it into my June reading plans. And also, I've just been doing the Queer Lit readathon. I literally just wrapped up that vlog before I started filming this one. So doing like back-to-back readathons just wasn't something that I thought I wanted to do. But then I kind of realized that I've had such a good start to my June reading that I'm almost done with a lot of the books on my June TBR. And also the books that I have left, at least some of them I could potentially fit into my TBR for this readathon. So I decided to just jump in and do it basically. I'm going to take it kind of chill. Like, I don't have any super big plans. I don't plan to complete all the prompts or anything like that, but I just wanted to take part in this readathon just because romance is the genre that I've read the most of and enjoyed the most this year. So I just felt like I should do this readathon and I really wanted to. Yeah, so here I am. So I haven't actually planned a TBR for this week. I did have a brief look at the prompts last night and I picked out some books that I could fit into this readathon. So I'm just going to see how it goes, really. So the book that I think I'm going to start out with is a book called The Last Drop by REYNE. And this book I plan to read for the new to you romance author prompt because I've never read from this author before. So this is a novella. It's just a little over 100 pages long. I tried to pick out some shorter reads for this week. It seems to be about a chef, like a restaurant chef, and a bartender. So I think it's going to be kind of cute and just quick to read, which is what I need right now and what I want to read for this readathon. So I guess we'll see how that goes. So yeah. I'm going to sit down and start reading that book now, and I will be back later on with some updates. So it's now Sunday. It's the second day of the Romanceathon, and I have some things to update you on. So yesterday I was able to read the entirety of The Last Drop by REYNE. I thought this novella was just over 100 pages long. Turns out it was actually just under 100 pages long. So I had no trouble finishing it. I really liked it. It was about a chef, Greg, and he was at a bar one night where he met a bartender, Tony, and he really liked the drinks that Tony were making, and there was some instant attraction there, and they ended up having a one-night stand. And the next morning, Tony was gone. He's someone who moves around a lot, so this was his last night in that city, so he's gone. They don't know each other's names or anything like that. And then it's a few months later, and Greg is opening a new restaurant, and he really wants Tony to be his bar manager, but he doesn't really know where he is or who he is, so he puts out all these ads, I guess you can call it, on the internet, just hoping to reach him and find him and get him to come back and help him open this restaurant. Things kind of go from there. Like I said, it's not a very long story, but I thought it was really well done. I really like the writing, so I could definitely see myself reading more from the author. For such a short story, it didn't feel rushed actually. It covered everything it needed to cover without feeling rushed. Obviously with such a short story, I didn't really have much time to really care about the characters or anything like that, so it wasn't like I was super invested in it, but I thought it was well done, and for what it was, I thought it was pretty good. There was a lot of talk about food and drinks and stuff like that, and I don't particularly care that much about that, but I liked the pairing. The romance was cute, and yeah, it was a good one. Don't know quite what I would rate it, maybe around 3.5 stars. Like it was good. It just didn't give me a whole lot of time to get really invested. So yeah, good first read for the readathon. And then this morning I started my second book, and that is Cabin Fever by Ro Horvath. This is also on my June TBR, so I need to get to it this month. So I decided to pick up this one for the out of my comfort zone, I think is the prompt. And the reason I picked it for this prompt is just because this is erotic romance, which I don't read a ton of and don't really know what to expect from it. It might not be out of my comfort zone, but I think it works for this prompt since I don't really know. So far I'm about 50 pages into it. I'm actually liking it so far. It's about our two main characters, Michael and Vincent. And Michael, he is this young, rich guy. He's an artist. And there has been some death threats against him, like someone is trying to kill him, basically. And it's getting kind of serious, so his uncle arranges for a bodyguard, which is Vincent. And the two of them, Vincent and Michael, they go out to this remote cabin in the middle of nowhere. And they're basically hiding out there while, I don't know, investigators or something are trying to figure out who's trying to kill Michael. And so they're just staying in this cabin and all by themselves for weeks. And there's distraction there, and the tension between them is just building and building, and you know, stuff happens eventually. I wasn't sure what to expect from it. Like with it being a erotic romance, I was expecting it to be steamier than the romances I usually read. So far it definitely is. There's definitely a couple of steps up on the steamy scale, I guess you can call it. Like there was just so much tension from the start, basically, and when things finally happened, it was definitely pretty explosive, kind of. So yeah, I'm liking it so far, but I do really need there to be some romance and some feelings as well, I think, in order to really like it. So far there hasn't been a lot of that, but I think it will be, with this being a erotic romance. So I'm looking forward to that, because I think when that happens, I probably like it even better. But so far so good. I'm about 50 pages into it, I think. So I'm actually going to continue reading that one now. But yeah, so far I'm liking it. So it's going well for the readathon so far. It's now Monday, and it's been a day for some reason I just did not sleep well last night, so I've been so tired today. And in addition to that, like over the weekend, my oven in my kitchen stopped working. So today I had to go down after work. I had to go down to the electronics store and order a new one, which was not cheap. But yeah, at least I will get a new oven hopefully this week. He said on Thursday at the earliest, so fingers crossed. So yeah, hopefully that will be sorted out, because I need an oven. Like the actual, the stove works, so I can cook things. So I can make dinner and stuff, thankfully. But the oven does not work, and I am someone who uses the oven a lot. I think I probably use it almost daily. So yeah, I need one. So yeah, not cheap, but hopefully by this weekend I can use it again. So we'll see. Anyway, reading updates. I was actually able to finish Cabin Fever yesterday. I finished it quite late. So yeah, what to say about this book? So I went into it knowing that it was erotic romance. So I assumed that there will be more steamy scenes than in a regular romance, which can also get pretty steamy. But there was actually a lot more steamy scenes. Like, this was pretty intense. And I think I mentioned probably in my last clip that I was hoping for some more feelings and some romance, because there wasn't much of that in the beginning, and I definitely got that as well, so that's good. I ended up actually really liking the characters. I didn't like them that much at first, but they grew on me, and I ended up liking the romance. And I actually ended up really liking this book in general, like probably more than I expected. Like there's not much plot. There's basically just a lot of sex, to be honest. A little more plot towards the end, but like don't pick up this book for the plot because there's not a lot of it. But like I find that I was okay with that. Like I kind of knew what I went into when I started this book, so it was fine. I don't think I could read a ton of these books because that would be too much. But like for what it was and for, you know, knowing kind of what I went into, it was fine. So yeah, I had a good time with this book actually. It was a bit too much at times, maybe. I'm not sure about my rating, but maybe like 4 stars. Like it was well written. I would definitely read more by the author. So like yeah, I quite liked it actually. So not a bad book if you into this kind of thing, I guess. Anyway, during lunch today I actually started a new book because I needed something to read. So I picked up Spring Strings, I think it's called, by Lily Morton. And this I picked up for the prompt to read like a backlist book from my favorite romance author. I think that's the prompt. Probably not the correct wording, but something along that line. I'm not sure I necessarily have one particular romance author that's my favorite, but I have really loved the Lily Morton books that I've read so far. I think I've read 3 books of her. One of them was 4 stars and the 2 others were 5 stars. So definitely a favorite. So I picked up this one, which I think is a novella. I know I got it in like a giveaway or something, I think last spring, like in 2020. So it's definitely time I get to this one. Don't know a lot about it, but I think it's about a model and a farmer, which sounds interesting. I love like opposites attracts romances. And it sounds like it could be a really fun one. So I have high hopes for this one. I think and hope it's gonna be really fun. So that's what I'm going to continue reading now. I did actually want to start Heartstopper Volume 2 today as well, because I plan to read that one this week. But I don't think I'll have that much time to read today, to be honest, and I would like to try and get a little bit further into the book I've already started, so I might start Heartstopper tomorrow instead, we'll see, but super excited to pick up Volume 2 of that one, which is a reread, but still. Anyway, I've been rambling on for several minutes now, so I'll just stop and get to reading, and I will talk to you in a later update. It's now Tuesday evening. It's pretty late, it's about 9-ish, although it's the brightest time of the year, so it feels like midday. But yeah, I finished another book today, or novella, I guess. I finished Spring Strings by Lily Morton, and it was lovely. There's something about Lily Morton's romances that just work for me. This one, I think I mentioned briefly yesterday, this one was about a farmer and a model. And this model, Malachi, he was at a photo shoot out at a farm in Cornwall in Britain. And while he was there, he suddenly felt really sick. And he had bronchitis, is that how you say it? I think so. So basically he had to like go to bed and have some rest out at this farm, which was owned by our other main character, Caden. And like he was pretty sick, so he ended up just like staying there for a while. And yeah, the two of them kind of just got closer, and it was really sweet. They had such different personalities, but I just love that in romances, when people who are so different, they still have so much chemistry and they just fit, and it is just wonderful. So yeah, I love this one. with this being a shorter book, a novella, there was maybe sometimes things were a little bit convenient maybe, and we jumped ahead, you know, a couple of times, but I felt like as for a novella this covered a lot, so I thought it was really good. Not quite sure what I would give it, maybe like 4.5. Like, it's not my absolute favorite by her, but it was still like absolutely wonderful and I loved it. So yeah, I had such a good time with that book, and I'm just looking forward to reading all of Lily Morton's books. I still have plenty of them to read and I'm excited, so yeah. And then I'm also reading Heartstopper Volume 2. Loving this so much, of course. Like, it's a reread. I'm just enjoying my time with these books and just like reading this story again. This book I'm reading for the prompt cover love, because I love this cover. I love all the Heartstopper covers. So yeah, reading this book for that prompt. I'm also going to start another book today, probably, or tonight when I go to bed. I'm not 100% sure which book yet, so I'll probably make an update tomorrow and tell you what I decided to read. This one I'm kind of just reading, you know, along with something else that I have going on, because I just like taking my time with it, so yeah. So that was my update for now. In like other news, I also had to go back to the electronics store today because there was something wrong with my order for my new oven. I suddenly discovered that the one that I had ordered was too small, which I wished or me and the guy who helped me yesterday had actually discovered, but no. So I'm just very relieved that I discovered it before it was actually delivered here, because that would have been just a big hassle. So I got back and I changed the order, so now I will get an oven that will actually fit in my kitchen. So there's that. Hopefully I will get that one on Friday. That's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see. Anyway, yeah, that was my update. I am going to go and probably read some Heartstopper. So it's Thursday now, and I didn't vlog yesterday. And the main reason for that was just that I wasn't sure how I felt about the book I was reading. And I'm still not sure, actually. So the one that I ended up reading after I finished my previous book was Bad Boy by Emma Alcott. The reason I wanted to read this one is just that I read the prequel back in, I think, January, and I've just been meaning to pick up this book for a while now. So I decided to do it, even though this is a longer romance. It's over 400 pages, so not ideal for a readathon, but I still just wanted to read it, so I picked it up. And the main plot of this one is that we have our main character, Colton, and he is on his way to a New Year's Eve party, so this takes place during winter. And on his way there, he gets lost, basically. He has been given directions to this party, but they're kind of unclear, so he ends up driving the wrong way, and he ends up like in the middle of nowhere on a very like small road, and there's snow everywhere, and he ends up just being stuck with his car. And right next to where he gets stuck, there's this cabin, and that's the only like building around. So he ends up knocking on the door of this cabin, just like because he's not able to get his car out of the snow, so he figures he'd just ask if he can come in and maybe get warm and maybe possibly stay the night, you know. And this cabin is owned by our other main character, Ross, and he is an ex-criminal turned romance author. So basically, things happen in the cabin, to sum up. And the reason I'm a little bit unsure about this one is just that things happen very quickly. Like the two characters, they had basically just said like 2 sentences to each other before they were like all over each other. And like, I would be fine with that if it felt natural in the story. But I just didn't feel their chemistry enough for that to make sense, I guess. So it felt a little bit over the top, I guess. And also, I still kind of feel like that. They're sort of claiming to feel things about each other that I'm not quite seeing. And I'm 30% into this book now. Like I said, it's kind of a long one for a romance. So I'm still hopeful that things will that I will feel it a little bit more, I guess, throughout the rest of the book. Because so far I'm not quite feeling their chemistry, which is a shame because there are other things about this book that I like. I like the writing, for instance. Like the plot of this book, it just could have been right up my alley, but since I'm not quite feeling it, yeah, I'm just not sure how I feel about it. But like I said, I have quite a lot of the book left, so things could change, and I'm hoping that they change. Because yeah, I see a lot of potential in this that I'm not quite feeling right now. So that's kind of why it took me a while to talk about this, because I'm not sure. Alongside that one, I've also been reading Heartstopper Volume 2, which I, of course, love. This is my reread. This one I will definitely finish soon. I could finish this in an hour if I wanted to. I just like to take my time with it. So I'm kind of reading this alongside the other one. When it comes to Bad Boy, the book that I talked about, I don't expect to finish it during this readathon, actually. The readathon ends tomorrow. I'm a slow reader. I don't expect to be done with the book. Which is kind of why I was a little hesitant to even read it for this readathon, but it was the one that I wanted to read, so I figured, why not? So that's kind of my update for now. I guess for the rest of the day, it's now right after work, so I hope to read quite a lot this afternoon. So I plan to probably maybe finish Heartstopper, or at least continue reading this one, and then also get a little further into Bad Boy, because I'm kind of eager to get further into that book in order to hopefully start feeling a little bit different about it. Like, I figure for such a long romance, there has to be more stuff coming that could make me change my mind. So that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, that's my update. So I guess I'll talk to you a little bit later. It's Friday, it's the final day of the readathon, so it's time for me to wrap up this vlog. First of all, let me just mention that I finished Heartstopper Volume 2. Love this, of course. I mean, these are always going to get 5 stars from me, probably one of my favorites series, and I love this reread so much. So yeah, having such a good time rereading this series. So I'll hopefully get to Volume 3 soon, and then after that, of course, Volume 4. I'm also still reading Bad Boy by Emma Alcott. I'm still not really feeling it. I'm up to around 60% now, I think. And there's just something about it that feels a little off. I mentioned yesterday how everything just started very quickly, and it just feels very insta-lovey, and there's just something about this relationship that's just not working for me, and just the whole way that it started off felt a little bit uncomfortable almost, and I haven't quite been able to shake that feeling ever since. So yeah, and I mentioned this is a long romance. It's over 400 pages, and frankly I'm quite bored. Nothing is happening apart from the beginning, when things happening very quickly. It's just, I mean, they're just in this cabin and nothing is happening aside from that, and I'm just like, where is the story going? So yeah, kind of bored right now. I will finish it because I pretty much always finish books, and I always have hope that things will turn around and I'll start enjoying it more. So we'll see. 40% still to go, but so far not a big fan, unfortunately, which is a shame because this is a book that I was excited about. So yeah, like I said, up to 60%, so I won't be able to finish it today. but I kind of knew that when I started, so it's fine. I finished some other things though, so let me just quickly go through the prompts that I have finished for the readathon. So the first book that I read was The Last Drop by REYNE, and this one I read for the prompt a new to you romance author. And then the second book that I read was Cabin Fever by Ro Horvath. And this one I read for the prompt to read a book that was outside of my comfort zone. Which kind of reminds me that I've actually read 2 like cabin or stuck in a cabin type romances this readathon. So far, out of the 2, Cabin Fever has been my favorite, so yeah. Then I read Spring Strings by MORTON. This was to read from the backlist of one of my favorite romance authors, and MORTON has definitely become one of my favorites, and I also really enjoyed this one. Then I read Heartstopper Volume 2, and this one I read for the prompt Cover Love. And finally, I am currently reading Bad Boy by Emma Alcott, and this I am reading for the prompt Indie Romance. I'm pretty sure this one is a indie published book, so that would work. So that means 4 things finished for the readathon and 1 book not quite finished, but I expect to be reading a little bit more of it today. So maybe I can get to like 70% or something. It's not too far for finishing it, if I can get there. In other news, my oven also was delivered today, so I have made my first meal on it, and it seems to be working fine, so super happy to have that sorted out. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this vlog. I don't think it was a super interesting one, but like honestly, it's not been a very interesting week. I mean, I've basically just been reading. I'm in such a reading mood these days, so I've just really enjoyed reading, and I'm really enjoying the books that I've been reading too, with a few exceptions. So yeah, super fun readathon. Hope to be doing it again sometime. But yeah, that's going to be the end of my vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can always hit like down below, or you could subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!